vulnerabilities identified on a daily basis, then this process or this approach is ideally flawed, because you will have quite a number of vulnerabilities identified. And a big frustration that you find within ICT teams is you get a report of 1,000 vulnerabilities, you fix the vulnerabilities. Next year, someone comes in, conducts an assessment, provides you a report of another 1,000 or even more vulnerabilities than last time. And then there are questions internally: why are we not managing our vulnerabilities more efficiently? I thought we had fixed vulnerabilities last year. Why do we still have vulnerabilities this year? So this approach, where we have consistent weekly, monthly, and quarterly reviews of specific assets within the organization, then reduces that, so that next year when an assessment is conducted, rather than having 100 or 1,000 new vulnerabilities, we have maybe 100 vulnerabilities identified within our environment. And out of those 100 vulnerabilities, 80 to 90% of those vulnerabilities are already known to us as the internal team, because we are consistently reviewing what we normally track within the vulnerability management program, and have consistent place where you're able to come and view this. Then on top of that, then you'll be able to assign vulnerabilities to specific people. So we have, for example, this is an application server. It might be sitting on our DMZ and exposed to the internet. So in terms of exposure, if this Apache vulnerability would lead to an open backdoor within our environment, then that would be an issue. So we have the vulnerability by severity, and also the remediation that needs to be done. In this case, it's updating that specific vulnerability, updating that specific software. So what do we come and do? We come and then commit to a specific timeline. So the application owner or the person managing this application server commits to solving these vulnerabilities, maybe by the first week of September. So by Friday next week, this vulnerability needs to be closed. Then the person is assigned from that list. And then what you have down here is also a watcher. A watcher is someone who verifies that what was closed is actually was actually done. And this might be someone maybe from the information security team, or from the internal audit within the technology aspect, ICT audit team. And then they would be assigned the watcher. So once this vulnerability is assigned to you, you get an email. If we get to Wednesday and nothing has moved, you also get an email reminding you that this was assigned to you, you committed to close it, please action it because it's almost time. Then once you action it and you update the version, if it's running on a Red Hat server, for example, just run the command on the CLI to list the current running version of Apache, show that, take a screenshot, upload it here. So if I'm in audit, I don't have to keep logging in all the other different devices. Even in information security, I don't need to keep checking all these. So because there is now a centralized place where you're able to come and view all that, all those initiatives, and be able to track that. So what you also get on the dashboard on the other end is also the number of vulnerabilities closed. So we have 1,000 vulnerabilities, or maybe 100 vulnerabilities identified. 70 of those were considered to be critical. They have been assigned. Out of those 70, 50 have been closed. 20 have not been closed. Why have they not been closed? Maybe the team does not have enough resources, maybe one or two other reasons. Then we're able to help each other. If a specific team is working and other teams are not working, then we then have a review of that internal process to be able to appreciate why those vulnerabilities have not been closed. An additional aspect of this is the ability also to be able to run automated vulnerability fix patches. Not all vulnerabilities will be fixed automatically, especially for production systems. Those required to go through this workflow, and then that is why they are assigned. So if I'm assigned this vulnerability, I can say I'm running the fix on test. Once it goes through, then we will call a CAB session to authorize them to be provided, to be pushed to production. Then I also set the CAB date and say we are going to review this by Wednesday, and then push to production on Friday, because we are going into the weekend, things will not be as busy. So that internal workflow, whereby testing before pushing all these aspects to the production environment, can all be tracked on this one platform, so that you're able to show the process that you are taking to implement these fixes. Additionally, as I said, there's the automated fix, which can be done through an additional engine that scans and also conducts automated penetration testing of the environment, gives you that, and then gives you the option of pushing them automatically. But in most cases, in our experience, we find organizations wanting to have that human element inputted to reduce the risk of pushing something to production, then breaking the application of the system. Now, once this is tracked and you have these reports, you can be able to come in and generate a report or configure a report. So report generation will have system-specific reports that are be able to scheduled and sent to specific audiences, and also configuring reports. So if you're in risk, you have a specific report for specific risks. So we have issues within the vulnerability management program. As I had earlier mentioned, you want to have a tracking of those the initiatives around that. So as a risk manager, you don't need now to have the nitty-gritties of the specific 1, 2, 3, 4 vulnerabilities, but you want to have a view on the risk and how that would be able to be inputted into the overall enterprise risk, given the vulnerabilities, that the issues that we have. Then those reports can become customized and configured and then pushed to you. For the ICT teams, then you're able to show initiatives and continuous aspects with regards to
Daniel, you need to
yes.
round up. You need to round
yes
up.
yes
The time is up. Yeah.
All right, just give me 1 minute and then I'll finish it up. And one more aspect that I would like to put in here is also the ability to be able to upload specific issues. So there are vulnerabilities that will not be identified through your vulnerability scanner. So for example, issues around an API is allowing you to call or to push requests from another REST servers. That would not be identified using your traditional vulnerability scanners because they do not understand the organizational context. So if you have issues around now your internal teams looking at identifying issues, then you're able to upload those. And once you upload the same, you're able to assign and track closure to ensure that you have visibility around the same. So I will put in my email address here, and in case you want us now to have a more in-depth discussion on this, something that we can be able to discuss. Thank you so much. I think I will stop it at that point. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. For the sake of time, we only entertain 2 questions here. I don't know if anybody has any question on this. You can unmute. Okay, so if there is none for now, maybe you can put it on the chat box. So Daniel, we would like you to, if there are information you would like us to have, you can put it, you can attach it to the chat box for anybody to see, and also maybe your contact too, anybody that wishes to get across to you. Okay, somebody is saying, okay, somebody has a question here. He said he cannot unmute. He said, what is the input? What is the input into the vulnerability assessment tracking to? I don't understand the question.
I think I understand it. So let me just quickly answer that. So we have our own vulnerability scanning and tool that will ingest into that. However, if you have your own, so if you have Qualys, if you have Tenable, if you have Rapid7 already internally, we're able to integrate through that to that using an API and query and pull that data into the platform. Thanks.
Okay, so he's also asking, in addition to a prompt fix, do you indemnify financial institution that uses your tool, but that was successfully exploited by a threat actor via a vulnerability that your tool failed to proactively identify for a remediation?
For this to apply, we'll have to then implement the solution to cover your entire organization, all your endpoints, all your servers. Then once that's the case, then we have, ideally, it will be an EDR, end-to-end for the whole network. Once that is in place, then we are able to provide you guarantees in case there's an exposure that we are not able to identify. Then we'll have amounts per endpoint, also amounts for the overall exposure. And those are aspects and numbers we can discuss at a later point.
Okay, thank you so much. So if there are further questions, you can put them down on the chat box. Daniel will do the needful in responding. So thank you so much, Daniel. You can still be on standby in case if there are further questions. Like I said, you can put down your contact in case anyone wants to reach out to you. So we are going back to Benga to continue the presentation on vulnerability management, proactive defense strategy, and business priorities. I guess this is the part 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yika, and thank you, Daniel. That was such an insightful one from Daniel. I mean, the application, the solution is robust, and from what I can see here, I think I'll be recommending as well. I don't know. Can you see my screen because I'm sharing? I don't know. Daniel, if you can stop sharing. I'm not sure if my screen is being seen.
Okay. Daniel, could you please stop sharing? Okay, yes. So yours is up now.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Benga.
All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Welcome back. With all those things that I mentioned, with all those things being said, the question is now, how do we know which vulnerabilities matters most, right? How do we know which vulnerabilities matters most? That's where threat intelligence comes in. Threat intelligence comes in. Threat intelligence in vulnerability management. What is its role? Basically, threat intelligence helps us separate noise from real threats, because as you are doing threat intelligence, as you are getting